Okay, YouTube stream is live. Hello, YouTube. And TikTok stream is live. Better late than never. There we go. Oh. Good start. Okay. Hello. Hi. Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm still coughing. Tickle in my throat. Hello, and welcome back to Farm Sim Friday. If I can do it again. If I can stop coughing for a few seconds. Hello, hi everyone, welcome back to Farm Sim Friday. It's great to see you all again. Sorry we're starting a little bit late today. Well, I say a little bit late, we're almost 20 minutes late. I got a little bit carried away with the makeup today. It's been a while actually since I since I did a full face of makeup. Normally I just slap on a bit of foundation and call it a day. But today, I don't know, I just got a bit carried away with the eyes and the lipstick, so I went a little bit further than I normally do. But hello, welcome back. It is Farm Sim Friday. We are gonna dive straight on in to Farming Sim, so let's continue. We're continuing with Moss Valley Farm today. Everything pretty much the same as last week, but this time we are going to be getting some new animals. We're going to be getting some sheep. So last week we, as much as I enjoyed last week's stream, we did have a great stream last week. It was a lot of fun. The conversation was really great. We didn't actually do much. We took some soil samples, we did a couple of contracts, and we bought a new field, but that was pretty much it. We didn't really get too much done in terms of field work and stuff like that. And the reason for that is that we're getting into winter time in game, so there's less field work to be done. There's not really much we can do in the fields until springtime. So I had the idea of getting some sheep, and then that gives us something to do over the next couple of months while we're waiting for the spring to come around. So we're gonna start off, we're going to have a look at some fields. We're going to try and buy a couple of grass fields, because obviously you need quite a lot of grass to keep the sheep fed. So we're going to buy a couple of grass fields, we're going to do some mowing, and we're going to buy a sheep pasture, and then we're hopefully going to get a few sheep as well. So, should go well. Thanks for the roses, by the way, Lewis Hume. Much appreciated. You look like a demond, says Alfie. Presumably you mean demon. Thanks, Alfie. I try. It's Sol again, says P. Hi, P. How you doing? Yes, I've worked hard to look as demonic as possible today, so it's nice to know that it's appreciated, you know. Also, I just want to quickly mention, if you're watching over on YouTube right now, I'm actually streaming in 1080p on YouTube. Wow, incredible. Normally my YouTube streams are 720p, but I thought I'd try 1080p. I thought I'd give it a go. I don't know how well it's going to work because famously this game and my Wi-Fi do not get on with each other. So I don't know how good it's going to look. If you want to go and watch on YouTube, it might be really good, it might be really terrible, but I am streaming in 1080p on YouTube right now. Where do I get the mod pack from Minecraft that you play, says Russell. If you want to download the Minecraft mod pack that I use, head to my Discord server. There's a link in my bio. And in the Minecraft server, you'll find a link to download the mod pack. Kaylin says, taking Unk's PC years to load in. The reason it's taking a bit longer than usual to load in is because the game's just updated. This game gets frequent updates. It's still a very new game, so, you know, makes sense. But whenever the game has been updated, it takes ages to load into the game. So that's why it's taking a bit longer than usual today. Is that another charity shop find? Says P. I'm actually not sure. I can't remember if this one's a charity shop find or not. It probably is. Lots of them are. But it's a good one. I do love this one. Okay, we're in the game. It's going to be laggy for a minute while everything loads in. But once we're up and running, we should be good. In fact, while we're waiting for the map to load in, let's take a look and see what we're up to. So last stream, we leased a soil sampling machine and we got some samples from Field 31, so we now know what kind of soil we're working with in that field. Where is it? Ah, there we go. So Field 31, it's currently one of only 2 fields that we own. We know it's made up of mostly loamy sand, sandy loam, etc. So we got that. Then we also bought field... What field did we buy? It's somewhere over here. We bought Field 35. It's currently got sunflowers growing in it, so we can't actually do anything with it until those sunflowers are ready to harvest. It says they're ready to harvest now, so we'll go and check that out. That might have to be our first job for the day if they are ready. But that's pretty much all we did in the last stream. We didn't, like I say, we did a couple of jobs as well. But that was about it. So today, I want to take a look at some of these grass fields. There's grass fields everywhere. All of these fields that are dark green on the map right now, these are grass fields. I'm thinking maybe this area here, 41, 42, and 43, looks like it could be a fairly flat area. So if we bought those 3 fields, we can put a sheep pasture in one of them, and then we can use the other 2 for grass to feed the sheep. So we'll take a look at that. But before we do anything else, sunflowers ready to harvest. So we are going to have to go to Field 35 and do some harvesting. Is this FS24 or 25, says Dylan. It's 25, Dylan. Bob the Builder says, do you remember me? I asked if you play Farming Sim. You certainly did, Bob. How are you doing? Welcome. I am playing it right now. So we're going to take to the combine. We need that header behind us. So, ooh, keys. Don't forget the keys. So we'll have to do a quick spin around. I love how you can walk with the steering wheel. I could never, says Mason. So just to be clear, Mason, this steering wheel does have thumbsticks on it. It's got little thumbsticks on it. So you can just when I'm walking around, it's just like walking with a controller. A lot of gaming wheels don't have thumbsticks, especially racing wheels. They don't tend to have them. But if you get like heavy duty wheels for like farming and trucking and stuff like that, they do tend to have the thumbsticks on, and they do help. Okay, we're getting some lag on the camera again. I kind of expected this to happen, to be quite honest. It's probably something to do with the fact that I'm streaming in 1080p on YouTube, so maybe this will be a one-time thing and I'll never do it again. But I wanted to give it a try. I wanted to just see if my Wi-Fi could handle it streaming in 1080p. Apparently it can't. Lesson learned. It's weird that you're lagging but the gameplay isn't, says Tazka. Yeah, because what the thing is, what happens is the game takes priority. So whenever like my PC's low on resources, the game takes priority. So it's the camera that ends up lagging out. So the game looks perfectly fine. The game looks perfectly smooth, but then my camera lags behind, unfortunately. And as soon as I pause the game as well, or maybe not on this occasion, usually as soon as I pause the game, it stops and and the camera catches up again. Doesn't seem to be doing that today. Like I say, it may be because I'm streaming in 1080p on YouTube right now. I don't know if I can change that mid-stream. I don't think you can. I think once the stream started... Why did I come this way? I think once the stream started, you can't change the output. I could have a quick look, actually. Let me just really quickly take a look. Video. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't change that mid-stream, so we may have some camera lag today, folks. Fair warning. Okay, where are we going? Straight out and then left. Left again. Okay. Well, I say straight out, but there isn't actually... You know what? I'm just going to drive straight through the hedge. Why not? We'll have the flasher on as well. Thanks for following, Ollie the groundworker. Are you a farmer? Says that red lad. I'm not a farmer myself, no. I grew up on and around farms. Lots of, you know, spent a lot of time on farms as a kid because my granddad worked on a farm. But I've never farmed myself, no. Poor nesting birds, says P. Yeah, unfortunately we... my activities in this game are very disruptive to the local wildlife. The Moo Orders says, bro's granddad watching this? My granddad's dead. So... but he did teach me everything that I know about farming. So, thanks, granddad. Sorry you're dead. You look stunning, keep it up, Queen, says Meatball. Thanks, Meatball. Oh, shit. I've hit a fence. I've hit another fence. I think there's fences on both sides, and it's quite a narrow road, so I'm going to have to be quite careful. Was he a livestock farmer, says P? No, he wasn't really a farmer at all, really. He was a farm hand. He worked on the farm, but he didn't, you know, like, he wasn't like a manager or anything like that. But he mostly did arable farming, so a lot of field work, a lot of... Specifically, spreading lime was a job that I remember we were almost always doing. Spreading lime, cultivating, tedding the grass, you know, stuff like that. Ploughing occasionally, all that kind of stuff. Like I say, a lot of field work. Thanks for following, by the way, Mason. Hello, Sausage Charlie. How are you doing, Charlie? Sorry, I'm lagging a bit today, by the way, for anyone who's just joining. It is because I'm streaming in 1080p on YouTube, which I'm quickly realising was a mistake, and we'll probably put that back down to 720 in the next live stream. Okay, we're nearly there. Now, this field's an awkward one to get into as well, if I remember, because we have to go into the field on our left right now and do like a 3-point turn into it. Here it is. Okay. Yeah, because there's a really narrow... The problem is, right, this gate opens directly into this fence. So if you want to get into that field, which is where we're going, we have to come into this field, close the gate, and then reverse into that field. Although, having said that, it might be easier if we reverse into this field. Let's try it that way. I've hit a fence post. Hit another fence post. And we're stuck. Okay. Okay, we'll try going in forwards then. I mean, to be fair, right, these hedges don't have collision on them, so if we do go through the hedge, it's not really the end of the world. I will try not to, but holy shit, that's a voice, says Parker Kid. It certainly is, isn't it? Horrible, isn't it? Awful, awful thing. Don't worry, I do plan on changing it eventually. Farming Sim stream with Saul, that's my afternoon sorted, says Parker Kid. Not Parker Kid, sorry, Danny. Thank you, Danny. Good to see you again. Okay, let's get the header unfolded. There we go. The hedges, says P. Yeah, the hedges are gonna suffer. Okay, there we go. So, we are... Oh, we need to unfold the harvester. So I'm not sure what all these details are on the screen on the top left, by the way. I think this is all precision farming stuff. I think it's going to tell us how much yield we get as we go, which is pretty cool. Like the left box, I think, is going to tell us how much wheat we get per hectare, or how much sunflowers in this case. Then the second number is going to tell us the yield percentage. Not sure what the other two figures are for, but we will find out. Let's go. Yes, so currently it's going to give us like live updates on the yield and stuff like that. So right now we're getting 3.5 tons of sunflowers per hectare. Yield 115%. So whoever had this field before us, they looked after it. Camera's still lagging a lot, I see. There might be something else I can do about that. We'll see if I can fix it in a minute. Danny says, how do I join the Patreon? There's a link in my bio, Danny. If you go to my bio, there's a link that goes to Linktree. Because you can only, I think you can only put 2 links in your bio on TikTok. But I have more than 2 links. So there's a link to the link tree, and then the link tree has all the other links on it. So if you want to join the Discord server, Patreon, Instagram, YouTube, whatever else, it's all in Oops, I've gone off course there. It's all in the link tree, which is linked in my bio. Pardon my ignorance, but is this single player or do you buy fields from other online players, says P. I'm playing single player right now. There is a multiplayer mode and you can work competitively or you can work together on a single farm. Right now, all the other fields are owned by non-player characters. But yes, you can play online and you can like do contracts for each other and stuff like that and sell lease fields to each other and all that kind of stuff. Very, very cool. Okay, the yield has now gone down to 75% and we're only getting 2.8 tons per hectare. Which is less good. Is it cross-platform, says Danny? It is indeed, yes. It's available on PlayStation 5, Xbox, whatever the latest Xbox is called, I forget. They're confusingly named. And PC, and it's cross-platform between all of those. I think it's cross-platform with Mac as well. I don't see why it wouldn't be. So yes, it is cross-platform. Okay, I think what I'm going to try and do is... I'm just going to pause for a second, and I'm going to go to settings. I just press saved game. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's roasting today, says Ollie. It is very hot today, Ollie. I agree. That's why I've gone for the sleeveless dress, because it's not the kind of weather for anything longer. Okay, let's turn the display settings down to medium and see if that does us any good. And also the frame rate limit is on 60 when it should only be on 30 because I stream in 30 FPS anyway, so there's no point in playing in 60 when I'm streaming at 30, right? So there we go. Let's see if that helps at all. The game will lag for a couple of minutes. That's because I've just changed the graphics settings, so it'll take a minute to update all the textures and everything. Can you try and stay on course, please? Thank you. There we go. Okay, that seems to have fixed the camera lag issue, which is good. It might come back. It frequently does. Danny says, it's not letting me join the Patreon. It won't let me use Gmail. Oh, I'm not sure why, Danny. It should let you... It should work with any email address. But obviously, if you do have a different email, you could always try that. I'm really not sure why it wouldn't work with Gmail though. Maybe it's just being funny, you know. Excuse me. That's a lot better. That's a lot better, says Catman Charlie. P says that does seem better. Okay, good. We'll stick like this for now then, and hopefully we'll not have any more issues. Like I say, the thing is, I don't really need to play on like ultra high graphics anyway, because the window on TikTok is so small, especially if you're watching on a phone. It's so small that like it doesn't really matter whether the graphics are on ultra or medium. You know, you can't really tell the difference on a TikTok live stream. So the YouTube live stream maybe, but we'll see. Is it the one that's £1? Says Danny. It certainly is, Danny. Yes, it's £1. That's every month, so you're only paying £1 a month. You will get your name written on this board here. Thank you very much to my current Patreon supporters, by the way, Kate, Sophie, Jess, and Daniel Wilkinson. Thank you all very much. But yeah, it's £1 a month. You get your name on the board, you get a shout out on stream, and Occasionally you get behind the scenes stuff as well. I don't post as much behind the scenes stuff as I would like to, but I do try to, you know, whenever I've got a little bit of, you know, like spare footage or stuff like that, I like to post it there, like uncut footage or raw footage or anything like that. I like to post stuff like that there. But like I say, it's not exactly what I'd call a regular thing. Which is why it's so cheap, because originally, when I first set up Patreon, I was charging a £5 a month, which seemed like a reasonable price. It's like a lot of Patreon creators charge £5 as like the base level, but then I realised, like, I am not offering enough to be charging £5 for this. No one's going to pay £5 for the amount of content that they actually get, you know. So I reduced it to £1. I think £1 a month is fair for what you do get. You know, like I say, occasional behind the scenes stuff, as well as a shout out on stream, you know, and the satisfaction of knowing that you are supporting me in what I do. So thanks very much for that. Oh dear. But enough talk about TikTok, about Patreon, sorry. There'll be time for all that at the end. I don't like to plug it too much on stream, because I don't like to go on about it, you know. But if you want to give me money, you can. Hello, do you remember me? Says Ob. Sorry, I keep coughing. I do remember you, Ob. How are you doing? Welcome back. Sorry, I've got like a scratch. I think I've like scratched my throat or something, because I've got like a little bit of a tickly sort of cough that just keeps coming back. So sorry if I keep coughing. Watch pronouns, says Didal90s Milan. She, her, thanks for asking, Didal. Hope I'm saying that right, by the way. I'm good, how about you, says Ob. I'm pretty good, yep. Apart from the coughing that is involuntary at this point. I mean, when is coughing voluntary anyway, but you know. I just can't stop doing it. But I'm doing well, I'm doing well. You got a partner, says Ethan. Not right now, Ethan. I'm, what's the word? Well, I'm single. that's a fairly accurate word. So let's just say that I'm single. Oh, we're nearly full, by the way, so I'm going to have to go and grab our trailer so we can do some filling. I'm going to turn the timescale down just a little bit from 6 to 5. Swear I seen you on Tinder, says Ethan. I have never used Tinder in my life, Ethan. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. I don't know where it's coming from, I really don't. Okay. Let's bring the trailer. Good god. What's the map called and would you recommend, says Aiden. I would highly recommend this map, yes. This is a map called Moss Valley Farm. It's absolutely fantastic. This is only our 3rd episode on this map. But it's been lots of fun so far. It's a UK-based map. It's based on an area in Sheffield. Really great from what I've seen of it so far. Nice, you know, realistic fields, realistic roads and stuff like that. You know, as someone who lives in the UK, it's nice to play an accurate UK map in Farming Sim. And speaking of UK maps in Farming Sim, it still hasn't been confirmed, but it's been heavily speculated that the Premium Edition map for FS25 is going to be a UK map, which would be incredible. I really, really hope that we actually do get a UK map as an official DLC. But we'll have to wait and see what happens, you know. Thanks, by the way, for the Heart Me, Draydog, the Explore and Collect guy, and thanks for the Heart Me, Aiden, as well. What's the map called, says Chedinator. Once again, the map is called Moss Valley Farm. Does it ever get boring to play, says Jay? It can do, yeah. I think any game can get boring to play if you play it too much, right? Even my favourite games in the world, if I play them too much, I start to get a little bit bored. So it's, you know... But if that happens, you just take a break, right? You just step away from it for a bit, you say, I'm going to go and play something else now. I'll come back to this when I've recharged my batteries, as it were. Because it's a good game, it's a fun game, but again, it can get boring if you just play it over and over again for weeks and weeks and weeks, right? Moss Valley, Chedinator. What's AMA mean? Oh, AMA is short for Ask Me Anything. Ask me any question you so choose. I'm here to be an open book. You know, I as much as the stream is about the game as well, it's also about me. You know, if you want to ask me any questions, you want to learn more about me, feel free. Danny says, joined the Patreon, Saul. You're welcome. Thank you very much, Danny. That's great to hear. I will put your name on the Patreon board, and next time I stream, your name will be on that list, so thank you very, very much for that. Do you drive IRL? I don't know. I have never driven IRL. I don't even have a provisional license. I've never taken a single driving lesson. I don't really want or need to drive. It's just not something that is really that necessary for me personally. I should have my lights on, by the way. Ooh, different flash pattern in this tractor. Okay, we need to slow it down a bit as well. We're going a bit fast here. Whereabouts are you in the UK? I'm Cambridgeshire, says Aidan. I am in Doncaster. I've lived in Doncaster pretty much my whole life. I'm originally from Harrogate in North Yorkshire, but now I live in Doncaster in South Yorkshire, which is another reason that I like this map so much, because this map's based in Sheffield, which is literally right next door to me, so that's nice. It's nice to see a map that's based so close to home. Why is her voice so deep, says Lucas? Testosterone. What's the map, says Chris B. The map is called Moss Valley. Oh, we're going a bit fast again, let's... careful. Can you crash, says Puddle. Stick around, Puddle, I probably will. I'm not going to crash on purpose, but I do crash a lot, so I don't think you'll have to wait too long to see it happen. I didn't open the gate there, I was supposed to open the gate. There we go. We can have the flashes off now. There you go. That was technically a crash, I've just hit the gate there. And I've just got stuck on the other gate post, so yep, there we go. God, this is... Before I bought this field, I should have checked how easy it was to get equipment in and out of it, because it isn't easy. It's a very awkward field to get in and out of. Joshua says, do you get dressed up in these glamorous clothes every day or just on stream, says Joshua. Well, I don't really get too dressed up unless I'm streaming or recording a video. Most of the time I, just wear the same casual outfits that people wear. I do like to make a bit more of an effort when I stream. Especially with like makeup and stuff like that. I haven't really worn this much makeup in a while. It's not like a common occurrence for me to wear this much makeup, even on streams and stuff like that. But yeah, I would say I definitely doll myself up a lot more for videos and live streams than I do just in my day-to-day life. I like to make a bit of an extra effort for when I'm streaming. Okay, we're in the field. The lippy/dress combo is serving, says P. Thank you, P. I absolutely love red lipstick. When I first came out, I had a stick of... I had one single stick of lipstick. And it was like this really dark pink colour. And I really loved it. But because it was the only lipstick I had, when I bought more lipstick, I just bought the same colour. And I was really reluctant to try different colours. But then my sister got me this this red, and I loved it. It was absolutely gorgeous, and that sort of inspired me to try different colours as well. So I've got like all sorts of different coloured lipsticks now. But yeah, red's got to be one of my favourites. I do love the red. Very bold, you know, very vibrant. Oh, engine's not on. Billy says, I want to get good at this game, but don't know what I'm doing. Play on... what's the American map called in this one? Is it Riverview Farm, or is that from FS22? Play on the American map, Billy. If you play on the American map, there's tutorials for everything, so it'll tell you exactly what you need to do, how to do all the field work and stuff like that. So, Riverbend Springs, thank you, Josh, Riverbend Springs. Yeah, play on Riverbend Springs, because it'll teach you all the basics. It's one of those games where you can get by just knowing the basics, but then you can also do more complex stuff, like with like fertilizing and stuff like that. You don't actually need to do it. You can just plant the crops and then wait for them to grow. But if you want to go the extra step and do it, you know, if you want to be a little bit more complicated with it, do the extra steps. You can fertilize as well. You can do ploughing and you know, all that kind of stuff. You can spread lime. You can pick stones. So it's one of those things it's as complicated as you want to make it. You know what I mean? The basic gameplay loop is you plant the crop, you harvest the crop, and then you cultivate. You literally only have to do those three things. Everything else is optional, right? And like I say, it's very much one of those things where you can... It's only as complicated as you want it to be. If you just want to do the basic stuff, then you can. And if you want to do the more complicated stuff, you can do that as well. A bit of a random question, but what cars are in FS25, says Cameron? Let's have a quick look, Cameron. I haven't actually bought any cars in this game yet. Oh, there's the Skoda! I forgot. Skoda. You can buy a Skoda in FS25, everybody. Skoda confirmed. Look at that. The Skoda Kodiaq, the Skoda Enyaq Coupe, and the International Series 200. I don't know if I'd count these as cars. They're more like trucks or buggies, but I mean, I don't know if I'd really count the 200 as a car either, to be honest, because it's a pickup truck, isn't it? I think the only one that I'd count as a car, technically, is the Skoda. So you can get a Skoda Kodiaq or an Enyaq Coupe. Thanks, by the way, for the roses, Puddle. Much appreciated. And thanks for the follows, everyone, as well. I haven't really been keeping up with the follows because there's been quite a few coming in, but thank you very much. Cameron, Riley, Super Gamer, thank you all very much. It is very much appreciated. To be honest, I'm glad that I put in the extra effort today and wore more makeup than I usually do, because I think that's partly why the stream is so popular. I've noticed that. I've noticed that the more effort that I put into the outfit, the more people watch the stream. And I know that most of them are rage watching, like they're only watching out of spite and to leave whatever comments they might leave. But it's true. I have noticed that the more effort I put into the outfit, the more people watch the stream. It can't be a coincidence. So maybe I should put in this much effort more often, you know. I think I love you. Thanks, Declan. It still boosts your live, so jokes on them. Exactly, Cameron, exactly. Any publicity is good publicity, you know, as they say. Maybe put enough effort into hurting yourself, says Trafford. That's the exact kind of comment that I'm talking about, you know? Because comments like that just show me that people are watching, right? I'd rather do a live stream and get 50 comments. Well, more than 50. I'd rather do a live stream and get hundreds of comments telling me to kill myself than do a live stream that gets no comments at all. You know what I mean? So if you want to tell me to kill myself, by all means go ahead. It's, you know, I'll take that as engagement, you know? Fame, but at what cost, says Hadders. See, the thing is, though, Hadders, it's worth it for all the positivity that I get, and there is a lot of positivity. As much as I get negative comments, I get nice comments as well. I get a lot of engagement, and I have a lot of sorry, I have a lot of conversations with really nice people, and it's worth slogging through all the negative shit to get to the positive. You know what I mean? It's worth putting up with the shit for all the nice, positive things that people say as well. Have you tried Roadcraft yet, says Dagger. I still haven't tried it yet, Dagger. Also, I don't know why we're completely missing a strip here, because I'm using the guidance steering. We'll come back for it. But no, I haven't tried Roadcraft yet. It's on my Steam wishlist. Sorry. It's on my Steam wishlist at the minute, but I haven't actually added it to cart just yet. I definitely want to try it out. I mentioned in Monday's stream, when we played Minecraft. What's the guidance steering even doing here? What's this? I'm not even touching this. This is the GPS steering that's doing this. Anyway. So no. My God. Can I stop dying for a second? I will actually finish answering your question, Dagger. No, I haven't bought Roadcraft yet, but I am gonna play Roadcraft on stream when I get it. Do you have a father, says Trafford? I do. I do have a father, Trafford, and he is absolutely wonderful. He has been one of my biggest supporters over the last few years. I know it's a common, like... One of the things that people love to say to queer people is, oh, I bet your dad's proud. But he actually is, like, really. Most of my family have been really great about it. Everyone's been really great and accepting. But my dad in particular has been like a real vocal supporter of me. Which is why I find it funny when people like Magic Marv leave comments like, oh, he's not really proud, he's just pretending, he secretly hates you. Because you're wrong. Like, if he was the kind of person who just said, yeah, I support you, but doesn't actually do anything to support me, then I might believe that he was faking it. But the fact is, like, he is so vocally supportive. Like, he has stood up for me and had my back on so many occasions, which is how I know that his support is genuine, because he's so vocal about it. He's so totally on my side. Which is absolutely incredible. So whenever someone comes along and says, oh, well, he's just pretending to support you, he secretly hates you, I know for a fact that's not the case. He loves me, he supports me. Maybe you just don't know what that feels like, having a loving, supportive father, but I do. I do know what that feels like, and it feels amazing. So thanks, Dad. You're probably not watching this stream. because I know you're not very active on TikTok, but thanks, Dad. Tazka says, people just like to imagine people being unhappy because they are. Hit the nail on the head, Tazka. Exactly right. Like 99% of the time, people... 99% of the time it's projection, right? It's people who are unhappy and they don't like the fact that you're happy. Like, they see me being happy, living my life, being fulfilled and content, and they just think, no, we can't have that. I'm miserable, so you must be miserable as well. I cannot allow you to be happy. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people who think like that. There's a lot of people who are miserable, and misery loves company. You know, they won't be happy until they've made everyone else miserable too. That's the world we live in. Have you watched Clarkson's Farm? Says Declan. I have indeed, Declan. I just watched the 4th series a couple of days ago. Quite enjoyed it. In all honesty, I think it's getting to a point now where it's a little bit... It's kind of run its course, you know what I mean? I know they're filming a 5th series already, but I'm kind of hoping that this 5th series is the final series. I just feel like there's not really much more to do. You know what I mean? He's done everything at this point. He's looked at so many different aspects of farming. He's kept all different kinds of animals and grown all different kinds of crops. He's opened a restaurant, a pub. Ooh. He's opened a restaurant, a pub, a farm shop. You know, I feel like at this point he's done it all, and I just feel like there's not really much else to do at this point, and it's starting to get a little bit repetitive. So as much as I do enjoy it, I do hope that the next series is the last one. But we'll see what happens, won't we? I hope he sticks with the farm, but yeah, you're right about it getting a bit dry. Yeah, exactly. Don't get me wrong. I hope he carries on farming, because he clearly enjoys it. He might not be very good at it, but he clearly, you know, he enjoys what he does, and he does a lot to raise awareness to the kind of struggles that farmers are up against these days. So don't get me wrong, I 100% hope that he carries on with the farm. But I just feel like the series it's kind of done at this point, you know. They should stop the TV show because you think it's boring now? Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Nox. That's exactly what I said, word for word. I actually said, I think it's boring, so they should end it. That's not what I said. But if you want to believe that's what I said, then sure. Ooh, whoops. Fit check, says Jacob. There's not much to check, Jacob, to be honest. What I'm wearing right now is pretty much the whole thing. Oh, why is... I forgot to turn the engine on. Not the engine, the harvester. There we go. But yeah, there's not really much of a fit to check today. It's pretty much just the dress. Which is beautiful. I absolutely love this dress. Haven't worn it for a while, but it's very hot today. It's, you know, we're getting towards summer now, so I'm starting to wear a bit more summery outfits and stuff like that. So you can expect to see a lot more of this kind of stuff in my future live streams, which I'm sure certain people in the comments will absolutely love. I'm going to be wearing lots of dresses for the next few months until the weather starts to get cooler again. Do you get bothered on the streets, says Declan? Funnily enough, Declan, no. I've never been harassed out in public. I've never really had anyone say anything to me in public. I'm aware that it does happen, you know. I'm not suggesting that trans people don't have, you know, face stuff like that when they go out in public, but for me personally, I've never really experienced, I've never really had any negative experiences. It's only really online that I get negative comments, which I think just goes to show how much more vocal people are when they don't have to show their faces, you know what I mean? Because again, every day I get people online telling me to kill myself, but I can safely say nobody in real life has ever told me to kill myself. It's never happened. It literally only happens online. And straight away, Tristan comes along and says, I would say it in the street, but the fact is, Tristan, you wouldn't. You would not. And I know you would not, because nobody ever has. Like, there's always someone, like, if I saw you in public, I'd say something, and I'm just like, well, no, you wouldn't. No, I know for a fact that you would not say anything. Because you don't have the anonymity that you have online. You're only saying it here on the internet because I can't see your face, right? So if you want to believe that you would say something to me in real life, you can believe that, but I know that you would not. I know that you absolutely would not. Lucifer says, I'd say something in the street, I'd say that your dress looks really nice. Thank you, Lucifer. Now, that kind of comment I'd love to receive in the street. You know, a nice compliment would be appreciated. Who the fuck is Howler? I would indeed call out your lack of PPE in public. Health and safety is no joke. That's fair enough, that's fair enough. Admittedly, this isn't really appropriate attire for farm work, you know? I mean, what if I got out to remove a stone from the header and my dress got caught and I got mangled by the combine harvester, you know? It's definitely not suitable clothing to wear if I was actually doing this in real life. But fortunately I'm not. Fortunately it's only on the computer, so I'm not at risk at being mangled by a combine harvester. That'll probably be the best possible outcome, says Billy Bob John. Ah yes, Billy Bob, because nothing says I'm the emotionally stable one like wanting someone to die. Nothing says you're the mentally unstable one and I'm the sane one like wishing death on people for literally no reason. You're really doing a good job of convincing me that I'm the unstable one and you're the sane one. Thanks for the rose, by the way, Evan. Drift Legend says, I'd let you bench press me. I could try, Drift Legend, but I probably wouldn't be able to. I'm not very strong. I'm not very strong. I know I do look a little bit muscular, but that's because I have so little fat that my muscles, like, bulge out. I look more muscular than I actually am because I have, like, 0% body fat. Which is not a brag. It's not a good thing. I don't like that. That's it just is. It's true. That's how I am. I'm underweight and I can't really do anything about it. I've tried. Believe me, I've tried. Ooh. Careful. Go on Jeremy Clarkson's diet, says Declan. I mean, that's not a bad idea. He seems to be able to keep the weight on. Are you on benefits, says Alistair. Nope. Taxpayers pay for you, says Logan. No, they don't. Tristan says, do you think you have the same rights as us, though, or are you respectful to our privacy? What a strange thing to say. So, in your opinion, equal rights means I have to respect your privacy, but not the other way round. Interesting. So, again, by your logic, equal rights actually means I accept my inferiority to you, right? Just to clarify that that's what you mean. What mods is this? Looks so good. I'm actually not using any mods. Well, technically I am using a few mods from Giant Software themselves, because there are a few mods on the Mod Hub that are published by Giant. But I'm not playing with any third-party mods. As much as I love playing with mods, this is one of those games where as soon as I start adding mods, I just can't stop, and I end up with like 1,000 mods, which makes the game very unstable. So I try to deliberately not install any mods for the purposes of the live stream, because I know that if I do, I'll just end up installing hundreds of them. What are your pronouns, says Jack O'Hara? She, her. Thanks for asking, Jack O'Hara. Do you respect our gender, says Issa? Yeah, I respect everyone's gender. Do you respect my gender? Logan says, do you respect our gender, though? Yeah, of course I do, Logan. Do you respect mine? Because in my experience, it's always... No, says Logan. Okay, so there we go. So it's always the people who are like, respect goes both ways, who don't respect me. Respect goes both ways, which means you have to respect me, but I don't have to respect you. That's what both ways means, right? Whose brother is this, says No Name? I actually have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. I'm the oldest of 5. I'm not going to tell you their names because I don't want to like dox my own family, but I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters. I am the oldest of the 5. They're all incredibly supportive, as is everyone in my family. So shout out to all of them, even though, again, I'm not going to say their names, but you know who you are. Are you wanting to be a girl, says Sam? No, Sam. First of all, I'm not a girl, I'm a woman. And second of all, I don't want to be, I am already. So, Fanta says, do you like Lily Tino, or are you ignoring that? I don't like Lily Tino. I think she's a pretty disgusting person who happens to be trans. So no, I don't like her at all. Does that mean that she's not transgender? No. Does that mean that all transgender people are evil because of this one person? No. That's called generalization, and is generally frowned upon. So... what map, says Alistair? The map is called Moss Valley. Ooh, whoops, I've not jackknifed, have I? I think I might have jackknifed. I'm going to try and do a U-turn and see if I can actually get out of the gate this time. Is the steering wheel worth it, says Cody? I think so, yeah. This This steering wheel, for anyone who's wondering, is the Logitech G Heavy Equipment wheel. I got it as part of the Logitech G Heavy Equipment bundle, which also comes with the side panel here. It was £230 for the bundle, and I would highly recommend it. It's a great starting wheel. If you're like wanting to get your first wheel, it's a very good place to start. If you've been, if you are like experienced with simulation gear and you've been doing it for a few years, I'd get something a little bit more expensive, a little bit higher quality. But it's like, it's cheap. It's it's good. It's a good budget model for what it is, and it works really nicely. So, are you pressing the pedals with heels on? I'm not. No, I'm actually barefoot. Well, technically not barefoot. I've got tights on, but I'm not wearing shoes. Liam Hammett says, "This is why I check the toilets before my daughter goes in there." Okay, so you're admitting that you, a man, goes into the woman's toilets, and you're accusing me of doing the same thing that you literally just admitted to in that comment. Okay. Ooh, nearly. Nathan says, "Yo, Saul, have you ever seen Better Call Saul?" I have indeed, Nathan. In fact, I've got a Better Call Saul coaster. I don't know how clearly you could see it on the camera. My brother got me this. My brother got me it because a lot of people come onto my live streams and make the joke, or, Saul, like Better Call Saul. So my brother gave me a Better Call Saul coaster. And yes, I have the same name as Saul Goodman from Better Call Saul. It's very funny. Oh, whoops. What do your family think of you, says Jacob. They're incredibly supportive, Jacob. Everyone in my family has been so supportive of my transition. The first people I came out to, family-wise, were my parents. I actually came out to my stepmom first. She was the first family member I came out to. And then my dad and my mum. They took it really well. I think they weren't particularly surprised. They never pushed me or anything like that, but I think they always had their suspicions. So it was kind of it was kind of anticlimactic, to be honest. I was really worried that they were going to take it badly. So I was really it was anticlimactic, but it was also a big relief that they took it really well. And same goes for my brothers and sisters. They all took it well. Everyone in the family knows at this point. My extended family, grandparents, aunts and uncles, everyone in the family knows about it at this point, and I've not had any trouble from anyone. JD19 says, "Genuine question, do you go into the girls' toilets?" So girls' toilets aren't actually a thing, JD19. I think you mean women's toilets, but you're saying girls instead to imply that I go into toilets with children in there deliberately because children are in there. But it doesn't really matter, because the answer to your question is no, I don't use any public toilets. So... R50 Cooper says, "You're interesting to watch, and I'm so happy you're not sensitive about answering these questions." I mean, I try to be an open book, you know what I mean? I think the best way that we can combat certain attitudes towards trans people is for trans people to answer questions like this and to be an open book, The more people understand, the more they accept, right? So Not everyone will listen, you can see in the comments right now, not everyone is going to listen to what I've got to say. But I think if you just answer people's questions openly and honestly, people are more likely to be like, you know what, maybe you're not so bad. That's how you change people's minds, by being calm and open. Not by getting angry and just shouting at people. So. What map is this, says Thomas. Sorry, Thomas. The map is called Moss Valley. Jack says, do you put on a more feminine voice, or is this your full-time voice? This is my full-time voice, unfortunately. Right, I can never find the silo in this map, is it? It's here, right? Okay. Fanta says, you kind of sound American, but you're British, though. You're not the first person to have told me that, actually. It's really weird, but I've had a few people tell me that I sound American, which I really don't hear at all, to be quite honest. Ooh, just fondling myself a little bit there. Sorry about that. Sometimes I have to make a slight adjustment. Rearranging the coconuts, says Jack, exactly. Oh, I was distracted. I was too busy looking at the chat. I crashed into whatever those are, girders or something. Come to Doncaster, says Declan. I live in Doncaster, Declan. That's where I'm from. And also, I've lived here pretty much my entire life, so this is a Doncaster accent. Up the Scunthorpe, says Tom. Sure. I've never actually been to Scunthorpe, so I'll be honest, I haven't exactly heard good things, but maybe it's really nice. Oh, I've hit the wall there. I need to get this as close to the wall as I can, because the combine's got to fit back in here. She says, before immediately moving away from the wall. That'll do it. He says, yeah, alright, if you like. I've got to say as well, like, I've been out for 5 years nearly. Calling me he is like the single least offensive thing you can do. I absolutely couldn't care less. Like, you think you're the first person to ever call me a man? Like, you seriously think in 5 years no one's ever said that to me before? I've had that said to me so much it's lost all meaning. It's absolutely meaningless. Logan says, claims benefits of taxpayers, this is where it's going. Well, I don't. I literally said earlier in the stream that I don't claim benefits. What are you then, says Shovel Harry? I am a trans woman, Harry. I'm also driving away from the farm. I don't know why. I need to go and pick up the combine, so I need to take the tractor back to the farm and then get the combine. What football team do you support? Says N'Golo Kante. I don't really follow football, but there are a lot of football fans in the family. My dad is a Newcastle supporter. You can ridicule him for that if you so choose. I don't know. I don't know anything about football, so go ahead. Sunderland, says Reese. Again, they might be good, they might not be. I genuinely have no idea. My granddad's from Sunderland. Well, not my granddad's. My grandma's husband is from Sunderland. He's not my biological granddad, but he's from Sunderland. In fact, if you've been around for a while, you may recall that last year I went to a wedding. I was a bridesmaid at my nan and granddad's wedding. That's the granddad. He's from Sunderland. Ooh, rolling. Okay, back to the farm. Map. The map is Moss Valley. Is your name Saul, or are you changing it? Says Declan. My name is Saul. That is the name that I was given when I was born, and I chose to keep it when I came out. I really like the name. It's a name that's always felt very personal to me. I know that sounds weird because, you know, everyone's name is personal to them, but it's, you know, there was never, even when I first came out, there was never really any moment where I was like, I hate my name and I want to change it. You know, I've always really loved my name, and I decided to keep it when I came out, and that's why I still have that name now. How much did the setup cost, says Tom Shucksmith, to play this? That's a bit of a complicated question. Sorry, I'm just tabbed out of the game a minute, so you won't hear any audio. A bit of a complicated question, Tom, because I have a lot of gear that I use for other things as well, like the gear shifter here and the handbrake. I don't actually use these for farming sim. But the steering wheel and side panel, and obviously the ignition lock there, this was 230 quid. The ignition lock was £60 with the collector's edition, so that's about £300 just there. The PC itself was about £1,000, just over £1,000. But yeah, there's lots of different bits and pieces to it. There's lots of different components. Sorry, I'm I'm tabbed out of the game right now, so that's why you're not hearing any in-game audio. We will be back in a moment. Oh, one sec. Okay, sorry about this. There we go. Oh wait, where's the chat gone? Hang on, I've lost chat now. There it is. Whoops. So I know a lot of people have been asking questions right now. I will answer some questions. Will says, why do you have the side panel at that angle? Because it's more realistic. In a lot of real tractors, the side panel tends to be to the right hand side of the driver, facing towards them. And because I've got a corner shaped desk, it just makes sense to have it facing that way. It's like I say, it's just more realistic that way. Is the map on console? Says Finley Jones. Yes, it is. Kale John Sexton, are you going to do vocal training? At some point, yes, Kale. I do intend to eventually do vocal training. It's not really a massive priority for me at the moment. But it's no secret that I don't like the sound of my voice. I've mentioned it many times before. I really am not a big fan of how my voice sounds, and I've always wanted to do voice training. But it's a very difficult thing to do. The thing about voice training is your results will vary depending on your starting point. So if you are starting with a feminine sounding voice anyway, it's going to be a lot easier. If you're starting from somewhere like me, as you can imagine, not easy. Not easy. It's not a good starting point, to be brutally honest. It's just not. Isn't there estrogen you can take? No. Unfortunately, estrogen doesn't actually affect your voice at all. Your voice is only affected by testosterone, which is why, when you're a kid, male and female voices are like a similar pitch, but then when puberty happens, male voices drop, but female voices stay high. It's because testosterone is the thing that actually loosens your vocal cords. And that's also the reason why trans men, when they have testosterone, it will cause their voice to get deeper. But estrogen doesn't make your voice go higher again. Once it's gone down, the only way to get it back up is to voice train or to have vocal cord surgery. And I don't really want to do the latter. I'll probably do voice training eventually. Are you going to have surgery or anything? Says Chloe Ines. Surgery... Excuse me, I've gotten stuck again on the fence, on the wall there. Oh god, what's... Oh shit. Okay, this is a... bit of a problem. Sorry. For coughing again. Bit of a problem, we've actually... Oh, never mind. It fixed itself. Grow a pair, says Jake Fletcher. I already have a pair, Jake. That's the problem. I'd rather not have a pair, to be honest. But no, to answer your question, Chloe, I don't actually intend to have surgery. Despite the joke that I literally just made, I don't intend to have surgery because I really don't mind what I've got downstairs. I'm happy enough with it. I want to take hormones. That's definitely something I want to do. I want to, do HRT. But I don't really ever plan to have surgery of any kind. Voice training, yes. Estrogen, yes. Surgery, it's just not really a priority for me. I'm getting stuck on the fence again. What am I stuck on? Is it the wheel? Is the big wheel stuck? I think the front wheel. There we go. It's not easy on this map. Chloe says, don't come in the women's toilets then if you're not willing to make the actual change. People always say this. People always talk about the actual change. I'm actually working on a video right now about this idea of fully transitioning, and it's complete bullshit. It's based on a complete misunderstanding of what being trans actually means. As soon as a trans person comes along and says, like, I don't want to have surgery, immediately someone will turn around and like, oh, so you're not really trans then, so it's not real then. And the people who say that just don't know what being trans actually means. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Chloe says, would you be more of a cross-dresser, or is that different again? Again, it's I'm still trans. I still identify as a woman. I've lived as a woman for 4 years at this point. But the thing is, being trans is not as simple as I am this thing and I want to be this thing. It's like infinitely more complicated than that, right? So no two trans people will start in the same place, and no two trans people will end in the same place, right? Every single trans person has a different start and end point. Every single trans person has a different journey and different steps that they personally want to take to get to, you know, to get to their ideal point in their transition. But yeah, it's like I say, not every trans person wants to take hormones. Not every trans person wants to have surgery. In reality, the only it's complicated. Basically, it's a complicated situation. Like I say, I am actually working on a video about this specific topic because I do get a lot of questions like that. And again, I'm not saying that people are being deliberately ignorant or anything like that, but I feel like it's definitely a subject that people might misunderstand and might have the wrong idea about, which is why I want to do a proper video and talk about it in more detail. There we go. Do you hate foreigners, says Jerkmate Warrior. No, I don't know why you would have that impression. Okay, I'm going to do a save. Thanks for following, by the way, Tory Plays. Thanks, everyone, for following today, by the way. We've had quite a few followers. Sorry I haven't been able to read out each individual name, because there's been the chat's been very busy as well, so there's been I haven't really had time to answer every single question or read out every single follow. And again, I do apologise for that. Sorry, I'm just tabbing out again real quick. What map are you playing, says Tory Plays. This map is called Moss Valley. I'm so sorry that I keep coughing, by the way. I'm not ill, I've just got like a scratch. I think I've like scratched my throat or something, because I've got a really like tickly kind of cough that's just hanging around. I'm sorry if I keep coughing. Okay, I'm going to go to bed, because I think we've done everything we really can for today. It's stunning. It's giving me English countryside vibes, says Tory Plays. It is based on Sheffield, so it is a UK-based map, and it really does perfectly capture the vibe, I think. Sam the Man, what did you do in school when it was time to play football in PE? Not much, because I was absolutely fucking terrible at football. I would just sort of stand there in the corner for 45 minutes and occasionally try and fail to kick the ball. And that was basically how PE was for me for my entire school life. We're over halfway through the stream, by the way, and I haven't even started with the sheep, which is something that I said we were going to do. So let's get on with that. I'm going to take a look at field 41, 42. Jesus Christ, I might actually be dying. I'm sure someone's going to comment good right now. But yeah, I'm going to... The fields that I want to get are 41, 42 and 43, because they've all got grass in them. But I want to go and take a look first and make sure that they're suitable. Hopefully they're quite flat. Where are they? Dear God. Okay, this is not very flat, actually, unfortunately. Uh, 42 looks quite flat, though. This one... Yeah, this is fairly flat. This could be a good option for a sheep pasture. And then 41, that's quite hilly as well. But for mowing, I think that's pretty good. So we are going to buy all 3 of these fields. Hey Stall, says Stormtrooper. How are you doing, Stormtrooper? Good to hear from you again. Welcome to the stream. What do you think of ferries, says Will. I don't know who or what that is. I've never heard of that. Do we have... Oh, furries, says Will. Bit of a typo. I think you were trying to say furries. You've spelt it wrong twice there. But my feelings are indifferent. More power to them. You know, good on you. It's not for me, but I don't have any issues with them. Let them do their thing. How long's your chopper, mate? Says Kalen. I'll leave that up to your imagination, Kalen. It can be as long as you want it to be in your fantasies that I'm sure you have about me, because why else would you ask that question unless you've been thinking about it quite heavily? So I won't rob it from you by spoiling it. I'll just leave you to guess. What was I doing? I was going to check if I've got a mower. Because we are going to need to do some mowing. We do. We got 2 mowers, front and back. So, lovely jubbly. We do need to buy... Should we do the mowing first, or should we buy the sheep pasture first? I think we'll do the mowing first. Harry Tech says, I'll chop it off for free if you want me to. I don't want anyone to chop it off. I'd quite like to keep it. Thank you very much. How you been, Saul? Says Stormtrooper. Pretty good, Stormtrooper. How's things been with you? I've been keeping quite well. Been busy doing video prep today. I've actually managed to get the scripts finished for 2 videos, both of which will be coming quite soon. There's the Lego tour video, which is coming next week. I just finished the script for that today, and I also finished writing the script for my next queer discussion video, which will probably be coming the week after. And it's the queer discussion video is one that I've been working on for literal months. I've been working on it since March, I think. And I just haven't been able to finish the script. I just couldn't find the right words to bring it together, you know. But I finally managed to finish it today, so the script is finished. So we got 2 videos just waiting to be recorded. And like I say, both of those will be coming in the next couple of weeks. Whoa, what the fuck was that? I did not see how big that bump was there. Whoops. Do you have a partner, says Terry Tibbs? I don't, Terry, but I'm not really looking for one at the moment. I'm fine as I am for now. We should probably have the lights on, actually, because you can't see anything right now. Let's put the tractor's lights on. Would you get a boyfriend or girlfriend, says Terry? I'm easy. I'd prefer a girlfriend, but I'm not really, it's not really, it's negotiable. It's not really a deal breaker. But again, I'm not really looking for anything right now, so it doesn't really matter. Bro, if you don't have a dad, you just need friends, I'll help you. I do have a dad and plenty of friends as well. I have a wonderful network of very supportive people around me, so thank you for your concern. Again, I feel like it's usually projection in these cases. It's you know, I think it's usually people who genuinely don't understand what it's like to have a loving father, because I do have one. And it's pretty great. And I happen to know that people who have loving fathers don't leave comments like that in the first place. So I'm sorry that you don't know what it's like to have a father who loves and supports you, but I do. Thanks for your concern. Do you have two mums? Actually, I technically do have two mums, yes, as well as a dad, because I have a stepmum. My stepmum's been in my life for many years, and you know, I do consider her like a third parent. She's really amazing as well. She's been very supportive of me throughout my transition and over the years. But all three parents have been very present in my life. My mum, my dad, my stepmum, they've all been there for me all this time. Before I came out, after I came out, they've always been on my side, fighting in my corner, and I really appreciate them for that. Is 25 a noticeable upgrade from 22, says Noah. Is it an upgrade? Yes. Is it a noticeable upgrade? Not particularly. It's there are certainly improvements. It is a better game. It is definitely a better game than 22, but in lots of little ways. You know, there's no like one massive thing that's completely different that makes it better than FS22, but there's lots of little improvements that might not be noticeable at first glance. You know. Oh, drone through the hedge again there. So you going anywhere nice today, Saul? Said Stormtrooper. Not today, Stormtrooper. No, I think it's a bit too hot to be leaving the house today. To be honest, it's getting to that time of year now where it's absolutely scorching. I have been wanting to go back to the Peak District again. I've been wanting to do another Peak District video. I think when I get round to it, I'm going to go to Ladybower Reservoir in Bamford. That's going to be my next trip. But again, it's getting to that point now where the weather's too hot, and I don't really want to be out in the Peak District all day in weather like this. So back in March, I was waiting for the weather to be warm enough to go to the Peak District. Now I'm waiting for the weather to be cool enough to go to the Peak District, you know? It's only 23 degrees. Yes, because famously 23 degrees is a perfectly normal temperature for it to be in this country. It's almost always 23 degrees in this country. That's definitely not a rare excessive temperature that we don't usually see on a regular basis. Are you trying, says Riley, but trying what? Trying a new haircut? Trying for a baby? Trying a new pizza topping? Trying what? That's not a full question. Okay, so this is field 41. We're going to mow field 41 and 43, but field 42 is where we're going to put our sheep pasture. I'm going to wait till it gets a little bit lighter though, because it's still a bit dark right now. So we'll fast forward the clock just a tiny bit, and we'll wait till the sun comes up. I just want to be able to see what I'm actually doing in the field. So we'll mow this field, then we'll we'll place our sheep pasture, and then we'll buy some sheep, and that should probably bring us to the end of the stream. Try harder, says YXC. Once again, try harder at what? You need to finish the thought, people. You need to you need to ask me a complete question, or make a full statement. You can't just say, "Are you trying?" and leave it there, because I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Is that the Hore farm kit you're using, says Farmer Brian? It's not, Farmer Brian. This is the Logitech farm equipment bundle. I did consider upgrading to the Hore farming vehicle control system last year, but I heard some unfavourable reviews from it, and I had second thoughts. I don't know, maybe it's good, maybe it's had software improvements and stuff like that since then. But at the time, I was kind of like, I'd rather save my money and stick with what I've got for the time being. But again, maybe one day I'll look into it. Okay, sun's coming up. Let's turn the time scale back down. What tracks are you using, says John Deere King. Right now, we are using the New Holland T7. Brilliant tractor. This is one of the starting tractors from on this particular map. Oh, I accidentally hired a worker there. Do you do farming in real life, says John Deere King? I don't, John Deere King, no. Excuse me. As mentioned earlier, I grew up on and around farms. My granddad worked on a farm, so I spent a lot of time on farms as a kid, but I've never actually worked on a farm. Why is the front one? Why are neither of them doing anything right now? Okay, neither of my mowers are doing anything. Why? Why are neither of my mowers working right now? Is it not long enough? Oh shit, it might not be long enough to harvest. Yeah, it's not. My bad, it's not long enough. Okay, let's fold up the equipment then. If I hang on, let me see the controls, because I'm pressing the wrong buttons here. Okay. There we go. Okay. I'll just park this up for now then. One of the fields is ready though. Which one's... Oh, it's 42. That field. Okay, so I was just in the wrong field. This one is ready to harvest. I just came to the wrong field. We can just cut through the hedge and mow that one instead. Again, not very realistic, sorry. That's not unfolded. Why is it not unfolded? I've got to lift it, then unfold it, and then lower it again. Oh my god. No, not that one. Not that. I've just folded the back one up again. I can't handle two pieces of equipment at once. I can't. I can't handle two mowers at the same time, evidently. Okay, there we go. And now I'm in reverse gear. Stop reversing! Okay, we're off. What game is this, says the Muffinator guy. This is Farming Simulator 25. The Muffinator guy also says, don't know why you're getting abuse, you can be or do whatever you want, don't listen to the haters. Don't worry, Muffinator guy, I never let it get to me. I've been doing this for a year now. I've had plenty of negative comments. It's water off a duck's back, you know, it really doesn't mean anything to me at this point. Does not getting the edges annoy you, or does it automatically mow? I'm not really that bothered about getting the edges with the grass specifically. Obviously, if it was a different crop type, I'd be quite particular about getting everything. But with grass, I'm not really bothered about missing bits. It's only grass, you know. But anyway, yeah, back to the question. Like I was saying, I've been doing this for a year now, and I've been out as transgender for nearly 5 years. I've heard it all. Like, every single possible negative comment that someone could make, I've already been given it 50 times, you know? So it really doesn't bother me anymore. The first time you get a negative comment, it hurts, right? I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. The first time that someone says something nasty to you, it gets to you a bit. But then when 500 other people say exactly the same thing, you just start shrugging your shoulders and going, alright, okay, so you're all just repeating each other, I don't care anymore. And like I say, it just gets to that point. It gets to that point after a few months, you realise no matter what you do, people are always going to say shit. You might as well just completely ignore them. And that's what I do. I like the setup, said X5 Punisher. Thanks, X5 Punisher. If you want to know more about my setup, please do check out my pinned video. I have a video where I talk about all of the equipment in my setup, the steering wheel, the gear shifters, the PC itself, the monitor, the side panel, the handbrake, the flashing lights, absolutely everything. So if you want to know about any components in my setup, please do check out that video. John Deere King, you should get butterfly mowers on the back. I probably should, yeah, it's a good suggestion. This is the starting equipment. We are only a couple of episodes into this series, so I'm still using the equipment that I got when I started this map. So we are stuck with just the single back mower at the minute, but butterfly mowers would definitely make the job a lot easier. How big is it? It's about a foot. Yeah, it's about a foot in diameter. I don't know the circumference. Diameter times 3. You were asking about the steering wheel, right? Just to clarify, the steering wheel is about a foot in diameter. Bleak Block says, never seen the appeal of farming sims, but I see the appeal of that setup. Thank you, Bleak Block. I'm very happy with my setup. A lot of effort, a lot of time and money has gone into this setup. It's not the kind of thing that you can do overnight, unless you've got money to just piss up the wall, you know. But for me personally, it's taken like 3 or 4 years to get my setup to this point, just buying bits and pieces whenever I've got enough money saved up. So I didn't buy it all at once, you know, I bought bits and pieces all over the place, and that's how it's gotten to where it is today. Your fella dresses like his mum. My mum doesn't actually dress like this. My mum doesn't really wear dresses that much, to be honest. And she doesn't really wear that many bright colours. I don't think I've ever seen her wear anything like this shade of red or anything like that. This is a bit too vibrant. Sell the John Deere and sell the T7 and buy a John Deere, says John Deere King. It makes sense that you would say that, John Deere King, just, you know, judging by your username. I'm guessing you're a big fan of John Deere. Me personally, though, I am a huge fan of New Holland. I've always loved New Holland tractors. Back when my granddad used to work on the farm and I used to go to work with him on the weekends, he drove a New Holland T6, I believe it was. So I have been in the cab of a New Holland quite a lot. I don't think I've ever actually been inside a John Deere. But so yeah, I think the thing is, for me personally, I just have like that nostalgic connection with New Holland, because this is a tractor that I've spent a lot of time in, not actually driving because I was 12, but I've been inside a lot of New Holland tractors in my time. Is it pink or brown? The dress is actually red. It does look a bit pink on the camera. And it actually, I don't know, maybe it is a bit pink. I think you'd have to squint a little bit to see the pink in it in real life. On camera it does look a lot more pink than it actually does. It's more of a red colour, IRL. They mean you're meow meow. Well, a pink cat would be quite a rare sight. We do actually have 3 cats in our house. Technically they're my brother's cats, but I, chip in for them as well. But we got 1 black cat, we got 1 black and white cat. No, actually we got 2 black and white cats, and 1 that's fully black. They're not on about a cat, says Jay Mahon. Well, then I struggle to see what else they could possibly be talking about. If they're talking about my vagina, then, as I've mentioned many, many times before, I don't have one. I've got a penis. I'm sorry, but I do. That's a fact. I have a penis. You really want to know? I have a penis. To be honest, I've never really hidden the fact that I have a penis either. I've mentioned it many times before. I have a penis. If that makes you uncomfortable, you are welcome to keep scrolling and watch someone else's live stream. You ever wanted to change that, says Jay Mahon? Nope. I'm perfectly comfortable with what I've got in the downstairs department. Thank you very much. I'm very happy with what I've been given, and I'm quite happy to keep it. Okay, there we go. We've mowed field 42. Tommy says, do you not look at yourself and think, what have I done? Yeah, Tommy, I did think that today, actually, because I overdid it a little bit with the eye makeup, which you probably can't even see that well on stream, but I've put way too much eye makeup on today, and I actually did look in the mirror after I'd finished and say, what have I done? It's too much. But it's what's done is done, can't go back now. Ooh, in the hedge again. What farming sim is that? This is 25. Just look at the state of yourself, says Tommy. I know, again, it's too much makeup. I'm sorry. I put on too much eye makeup. It's been a while since I've made myself up this much though, so I got a bit carried away today. It is what it is, says Lean Bean. Exactly, it is what it is. C'est la vie. What's done is done. Whoa. Sorry, I was distracted by the chat then. Not trying to be rude, but what made you want to change genders? I have a video about this as well, just to quickly mention. It's a very complicated question, and I will give you a brief answer right now, but it's very much a question that doesn't have a simple answer. So I do have a video specifically talking about my coming out and how I realised and the journey that I went on to come out as transgender. So if you want to check that out, it is my first pinned video on my profile. It is 13 minutes long, fair warning, but if you want like a genuine long-winded answer to the question, check out that video. Short answer, I just didn't feel very comfortable with the way I was. I just didn't feel very comfortable living my life as a man. I always felt this kind of... I always felt like I kind of didn't belong in my own body. And I thought long and hard about that, why that might be. And, you know, as a teenager, it's kind of normal, right? Teenagers hate their bodies. They just do. It's a fact. Almost every teenager, they go through puberty and they go through this phase of I absolutely hate myself. And I went through that phase too. That was no exception, right? But the thing is that when I grew up, when I became an adult, when puberty was done and finished and out of the way, I still had those same feelings of discomfort. And that's the point where you start to say, well, maybe there's something more serious at hand then. Maybe it's not just teenage angst, you know, maybe there's something a bit more serious at play. And that's when I got to start asking myself, you know, am I really comfortable with who I am? Am I comfortable with the life that I'm living? Am I comfortable being seen and treated as a man in society? And I did a lot of soul searching, a lot of thinking, a lot of asking myself the big questions. It's not a simple decision. I think a lot of people think that, you know, trans people just wake up one morning and say, I'm trans now. It's not like that. It's a long journey. There's a lot of self-doubt and asking yourself these questions and really trying to understand it. And eventually you get to the conclusion that, yeah, I'm transgender. The fact is that I'm more comfortable now than I ever was before. It's one of those things where I feel like... How do you... Right. Here's a question for you. Have you ever experienced true happiness? And follow-up question, how would you know? How would you know if you've experienced true happiness? Like, when... Because you've got no frame of reference, right? You've got nothing to compare it to. So how do you know when it's actually happened? And that's kind of how I feel about my transition. Like, I thought that I was happy before I came out, but that's because I didn't realise how much happier I could be. Does that make sense? Like, I was perfectly fine being a man. I was perfectly content living my life as a man, because I didn't know how much better it could be, right? And then as soon as I realised how much better it could be, I didn't want to go back. And that's how we get to where we are now. You know, I've never looked back. Despite what people on the internet might say, I am happier now than I have ever been. I absolutely love being able to live my life in this way and just be who I know I am. It's incredible. It's incredible. It's liberating, it's uplifting, it's just an incredible feeling. And like I say, I think again, just it just comes back to that question, like, have you ever experienced true happiness, and how would you know if you have? Right? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And it's a big question. It's a daunting question, to say the least. But here we are. I asked myself that question, and it turns out the answer was no, and now the answer is yes. I have, and I do every day. Oh, have I just hit the... I think I've got stuck on the slurry pump there. I shouldn't have come this way. I keep doing that. I keep coming down the side of this barn, which isn't actually... Because it looks like a path, right? From the top, it looks like there's a dirt track. But then as soon as you come down it... Oh, you're on like a 45-degree embankment. What map is that? This is Moss Valley. Great map. Thoroughly enjoying it so far. We're only a few episodes in, but it is absolutely fantastic. I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be on the other side. That's where this came from, isn't it? Is it on PC? Says that GTA Polar Bear? Yes, it is. It's a cross-play map, so you can get it on PC, PS5, or Xbox. I like your setup, thank you very much. And once again, sorry to keep plugging my own videos, but if you want to know more about my setup, there is a pinned video about that. If you want to know more about my journey and my coming out as transgender, there's a pinned video about that. And there's a third pinned video, but I can't remember what it is. So you can go and see that as well if you really want to. Oh, and also I just posted another piano video as well. I posted a video on Wednesday, which is a piano cover of Labyrinth Zone from Sonic the Hedgehog. Please go give that video some love. There's a little surprise at the end for the Sonic fans out there. But yeah, do please go and check out my latest piano video. Hello, says Charlie. How are you doing? Greg 6C says this is normalised now. It certainly is, Greg, and don't we love that? It's great that we live in a time where people can actually express themselves and be who they truly feel they are. You know, I'm just grateful that we don't live in a time where people got rounded up and castrated for not being straight. You know, let's not forget that Alan Turing was chemically castrated less than 60 years ago. The man who literally won the war for us was chemically castrated because he was gay. And I just think it's so incredible that we don't live in a time like that anymore. Can you imagine? Can you imagine people actually advocating for that in this day and age? Can you imagine how sad and pathetic you would have to be in 2025 to still believe that gay and trans people should be locked up and castrated? Can you imagine how pathetic you'd have to be to still believe that? Anyway, we're going to go to do some tedding right now. We're going to go turn over the grass. Actually, no, this is a windrower, sorry. We're not tedded. It doesn't need to be tedded because we can feed the sheep don't mind if it's wet or dry. They can just take the wet grass, so we'll use the windrower to get into nice little rows. Then we'll do a bit of baling. I don't know if we're actually going to get time to do sheep. I might have to just get them anyway before the end of the stream, because I did promise that we would get sheep in today's stream. Sorry, just adjusting the boobs again there. Oh, whoops! I've gotten stuck again. I keep doing that. It keeps happening on this corner specifically as well. Greg C says, imagine seeing this person driving a tractor down your local lanes. Well, the thing is, right, if you saw me driving a tractor out in public, in real life, I'm in a tractor. And you're probably in a car. You're probably in some tiny little car, and I'm in this massive 5-ton tractor, so I'm not really going to feel particularly unsafe, you know? How much was your steering wheel? £230 for the steering wheel and side panel. They come as part of a bundle. There's also 2 pedals, brake and accelerate, which are down below. Like I say, £230 for the whole thing. Probably weighs more than 5 tons, says Reese. Yeah, probably. I was lowballing it, admittedly. I'm not good at measuring the weight of things. Let's find out, actually. We can see how much it weighs. It weighs 7.3 tons, so I lowballed it, but it wasn't massively out. So yeah, this tractor is 7 tons. Big up the crap rig, says Maddie. I mean, you're not wrong, Maddie. To be quite honest, it's not the most. I mean, not to put too fine a point upon it. Sorry, I tripped over my tongue there. Not to put too fine a point upon it. This is not an expensive steering wheel. This is one of the cheapest steering wheels that you can get. And yeah, it's good. I really don't care. I'm not going to spend thousands of pounds on really expensive equipment just because it's expensive and I want to show off, you know? I would rather spend as little as possible and get something that works, you know? So, yeah, it's cheap, it's small, it's not very powerful, it's not very high quality compared to more expensive steering wheels, but it works, and I'm happy about that. Never playing Farming Sim again, says Gavin Symington. Great to hear, Gary. I love it. I absolutely love when people comment stuff like this. Like, the fact that your hatred for me is so strong that you're actually going to stop playing a video game that you love forever. That gives me hope. That fills my heart with joy. Like, I will sleep soundly tonight knowing that I personally am the reason that you never play Farming Sim again. That's incredible. F the haters keep me new, says it's me, Byron. Thank you, Byron. Don't worry, I fully intend to. Like I say, I absolutely love it. I really enjoy hearing comments from people who are genuinely upset about the fact that I exist. It's so sad, you know, that there are people out there who are genuinely disturbed by the fact that I just exist. And it's always funny to get comments from those sorts of people. Like, the fact that I can do literally nothing apart from just being myself, and that genuinely upsets people. Like, I don't even have to put effort into it. I don't have to put any effort into it whatsoever. I just have to be on camera for 5 seconds, and they start flooding in. It's incredible. It's a bit of a power trip, to be honest. It's you know, it makes me feel like, you know, the fact that I have so much power over these people's emotions just from being here is great. Why is your voice deep, bro? Says Az. Testosterone. Testosterone. A little thing called male puberty. But then again, you already knew the answer to that question before you even asked it, didn't you? Let's be honest. That's something else that always makes me laugh as well. The amount of people who ask questions that they already know the answer to because they think that it's gonna upset me. Like, you think you're the first person ever to ask why I have a deep voice? No, you're not. You're not even the first person today to ask why I have a deep voice. So, do you genuinely believe that that's going to get to me? Did it hurt when it got cut off? Says Will. Wouldn't know, because it hasn't been, and it never will be. Unless I get in a freak accident and they have to amputate it. I don't ever intend on getting rid of it. Is that a light beacon on your desk, says Curtis. It is indeed, Curtis, and it does work. I don't normally have it on when I'm doing field work, but when I'm out on the roads, I do have the beacon there. And it does respond to the in-game beacons as well, so it has the same flash pattern as whatever tractor I'm driving. This is actually from the collector's edition of Farming Sim 22, by the way. I managed to find that on Facebook Marketplace for a £5, so look around. You might be able to find it somewhere for a pretty decent price. But it's really cool. It's a really cool little bit of kit. because it's such a small thing, but it does make the experience more immersive. You know, it just makes it a little bit more realistic when you're driving about and you can actually put the flashing lights on. So it's really cool. How's Farming Sim going for you? I've never played it, but made who one day. Sorry. I love it. I love Farming Sim. I've played Farming Sim for many years. I first started out with FS 15 on the PS4. Great game. That was my first experience with Farming Sim, and I've been hooked ever since. Marco says, did you get bullied in school? No, I didn't, Marco. I actually got on pretty well in school. I wasn't exactly a popular kid, but I wasn't like really I wasn't really the loner kid either. I had quite a few friends at school. I was never in with like the popular crowd, but I was never like friendless and alone either. You know, I was just somewhere in the middle. Also, I should clarify, I wasn't out when I was at school. I came out at the age of 22, so for all intents and purposes, I was a boy throughout my entire school life. Have you ever driven an actual tractor, says Ollie Lloyd. Technically I have, Ollie, yes. However, it wasn't exactly legally. Although, actually, technically, it was in a field, so I don't think there's any legal issues with driving a tractor in a field without a license. It's only when you're actually out on the road. But I have driven tractors in fields before. When I was way too young to be doing so, and obviously without a license. But again, I don't think that a license is needed when you're in a field. I think it only applies. It's only if you're driving on the road that you actually need to be licensed. It's a grey area. It's a grey area. But yes, I have driven a tractor, but not on a road. I've driven a tractor in a field. Don't need a license on the road either, be alright, said Ollie. I mean, yeah, as long as you don't get caught, right, you can, you know. What brand of tractor? Says Marco. Not Marco. Marco says, is that the real Red Power Ranger? It was Ed who asked what kind of tractor. This is a New Holland T7. And if you're asking about the tractors that I've driven in real life, I've driven a New Holland T6 and the Case Puma, because those were the two tractors that my granddads used back in the day. When raking a field, do 3 headlands and then top to bottom. That is what I've done, actually. I have done, as you can see, I've done 3 headlands, and now I'm doing the top to bottom. Just a tip, rowing up in single lines from top to bottom is best. That's what I'm doing though, isn't it? Like, I'm not a farmer. Okay, let's get one thing clear. I'm not an actual farmer. So if I'm not doing it right, I do apologise. I mean, you can see from my driving quality that this is, you know, I don't really know what I'm doing. In real life, I would be absolutely hopeless at this. Enjoy. I often play FS25 when I can. Thanks, Agri23. Probably still better than Clarkson could do, though. I don't know. He's been at it for a few years at this point. Although, judging by Series 4 of Clarkson's Farm, he hasn't really improved that much in that time. Okay, I'm going to cut through the hedge again. In fact, I might do some landscaping and just delete part of that hedge so that we can use it as a gateway. Didn't he let a whole field of rapeseed rot, says Skivety Toilet? He did. Wasn't that like way back in the first series, though, when he was just starting out? Oh, shit. He probably never did that. I don't think I've ever seen him ram into a dry stone wall with that. Actually, no. Tell a lie. He did knock over a dry stone wall with a grape harvesting machine, didn't he? He got, not a grape harvest, he got a blackberry harvesting machine, and he ran it over the top of a hedge, but there was a dry stone wall under the hedge, and he ended up ripping the dry stone wall apart and destroying the harvester. So yes, maybe I am a better driver than Jeremy Clarkson when it comes to tractors. You on PlayStation, says Agri23. Nope, this is PC. Agri23. So we might overrun a little bit today because I don't want to end the stream until we've actually got some sheep in the field. So what we'll do is we'll head back to the farm, we'll get the baler, we'll do the baling, and then we should still have a little bit of time left to get some sheep, as promised. Scran time for me, laters, says Vixie Pie. See you later, Vixie Pie. Thanks for joining today. Some great comments from you. Thanks for being here. Where are you driving to? Currently, we are heading back to the farm. We're going to drop off this windrower, and then we're going to... Oh, I should have the beacons on, actually. Then we're going to pick up the baler. Have you ever driven a tractor IRL, says Eddie. Once again, Eddie, yes, I have driven tractors a couple of times. I've driven the New Holland T6, which is quite similar to the one that I'm driving right now, and I've also driven a Case Puma. What does the light do, says Tom Shucksmith? It just responds to the in-game light, so you can see right there the lights on the tractor are flashing right now. They don't quite sync up. You'll notice that it's out of sync with the game, but they do have the same flash pattern. So this has a sort of double flash kind of pattern. It does change, but the light pattern does match whatever whatever tractor you're driving. Oh, whoops. Hit the fence again there. Fair play, good on you, says Beeboo. Thanks very much. Beeboo, or is it Baibu? Or Blebu, it might be that might be an L. Sorry if I've read that wrong. Watch pronoun, she, her, thanks for asking. Notification. Isaac says your bird plays tractor driving simulator. Well, Isaac, first of all, I'm nobody's bird. And second of all, it's farming sim, not tractor driving sim. Are you just a cross-dresser then if you're refusing to cut anything off? Nope. I'm not a cross-dresser. Cross-dressers are people who dress as the opposite sex or have a different presentation of their gender, but they don't identify differently. So basically, a man in drag, for example, I do identify as a woman. I've lived for 4 years as a woman. I am in the middle of changing my gender on my legal documents and stuff like that. I am a woman, I live as a woman, I have done for many years, so no, not a cross-dresser. There is a lot of grey area. The definitions of certain terms can be a little bit, you know, a little bit confusing for people to get their heads around, but, you know, you do not have to medically transition to be transgender. Which I think is where a lot of people get confused, because they hear the word transgender, they hear the word transition, and they put two and two together and they think, oh, all trans people must therefore medically transition. But it's not the case. That's not actually how it happens. Joey says, there is no grey area, you have a tallywhacker. You're not wrong there, Joey. I do indeed have, as you so eloquently put it, a tallywhacker. And much to, I'm sure, your disappointment, I do intend to keep it. I have no intention of ever having any surgery in that area. Thoughts on Lily Tino? As I said earlier in the stream, don't like her. I think it's, you know, it's pretty obvious from... I've seen a few of her videos floating around the internet from time to time, and it's pretty obvious that she's a pretty disgusting person. She says and does some pretty inappropriate things. But that doesn't mean that she's not transgender. It just means she's a bad person. You can be a bad person and be transgender as well. You know, it's... I know people struggle to get their heads around this, but one person doesn't represent the entire group. You know, one bad transgender person doesn't mean that all transgender people are bad, because if it did, then by that same logic, one bad cis person would mean that all cis people are bad, right? Like, there's no logic there. There's no... It doesn't make sense to logically assume that because one person is bad, the entire group is bad. This is how you get things like racism and sexism, you know. Because one person does something bad, and then all of a sudden, every single person from that group must therefore be bad. Which doesn't make any logical sense, but people still believe that. It's not just one person, it's called statistics, says Ooga Booga. No, it isn't. Statistics do not show that trans people are more likely to be bad people. First of all, because bad person isn't really a quantifiable thing. But if you talk, you know, it depends what kind of statistics you're talking about. But there is no statistical evidence to suggest that trans people are more likely to be violent. There's no statistical evidence that trans people are more likely to commit sexual offences. None of this has any statistical evidence. But obviously that doesn't matter on the internet, because on the internet you can just say something and people will accept it to be true without any further questioning. You know, you can just go on the internet and say, did you know that 55% of trans people are sex pests? And people will just believe that. People will just be like, yep, that sounds about right. I'm never going to entertain any other viewpoint. I'm going to accept this as the truth. Nothing anyone else ever says will change my mind on this. That's how the internet works. That's how the internet works. Whoever gets there first controls the narrative, basically. So whoever gets in there first and says, this group of people are X, Y, Z, everyone will just believe it, unquestioningly, from that point forward. What's the difference between FS22 and FS25, says Ed Holden. There's a few differences. I think the biggest difference is the ground deformation, which is very good. I do like the ground deformation. It's not like Mudrunner level physics or anything like that. And I wouldn't want it to be honest. It's, you know, it's a nice level of physics. There's a bit of ground deformation, which is very nice. There's guidance steering now as default, not as a mod. You can, you know, just go into a field and use GPS steering, which is really cool. There's a few new crop types. There's some new animals. There's a Japanese map. You know, there's a lot of little things. Like I was saying earlier in the stream, there's not really like one massive improvement. There's lots of little things that make it better, which I do appreciate. Wearing a dress while playing Farming Sim? Well observed, Jaden. Yes, I am wearing a dress while playing Farming Sim. Do you want a medal for pointing that out? Okay, I am currently... trespassing in someone else's field, by the way. I was driving right through the middle of someone else's field because I took a bit of a wrong turn. And driving through hedges as well. But the hedges don't have collision, you know. If the map maker didn't want me to drive through the hedges, he should have put collision on the hedges. As it stands, they don't have collision, so I'm going to drive through them. Oh, shit. I just detached the baler there. I was supposed to unfold it, but I pressed detach by mistake. And here we go. We're baling. I think... Is this the first time we've done baling in Farming Sim 25? It might be. No, we did some in... we did some on Hutan Pantai. Does that wheel feel cheap? Says Magnus Moto. Not really. It is cheap. It is a cheap wheel. But I don't think it feels particularly cheap. It's not exactly shoddy, you know. It is well made. It's obviously... You get what you pay for. It's not... You know, it doesn't feel like you're driving a Ferrari or anything like that. You know, it is... At the end of the day, it is a cheap wheel. But it doesn't feel like... You know, it doesn't feel like a total piece of crap. You know, it feels appropriate for the price it is. How much of the map have you bought, says Connor? Barely any, Connor. We are still very early into the series here. We're only on episode 3, so we only own a couple of fields right now. Oh, I lowered my pickup by mistake. I mean, I lifted my pickup by mistake. And now I've just driven over the bale. Good. There we go. No harm done. It's probably going to follow us now, but no harm done. So did my Patreon come through at all, says Danny. I don't know yet, Danny. I don't like to check stuff like that in the middle of the stream. But if you've had an email from Patreon, then that probably means it has gone through. And like I say, if anyone does join like mid-stream, I will add your names to the board before the next stream. Unload baler. Oop, there we go. Sorry, someone asked a question that I actually wanted to answer, but I missed it. Augusta says, been listening for 10 minutes. Amid the recent ruling, which I agree, you actually seem quite level. Well, thanks for saying that I'm quite level, Augustus. I appreciate that. For obvious reasons, I am not in I'm not in agreement with the ruling. But let's not talk about that. That's I've made a video about that. I've shared my thoughts on that matter. I don't really want to talk about that today. I just want to play Farming Sim, so it's neither here nor there really. What map is this, says Jamie? This is Moss Valley. Great map, highly recommend. Based on Sheffield in the UK. Watch pronoun she, her, thanks for asking. Callum. Connor says, do you play any other games? I certainly do, Connor. In terms of streaming, I'm currently streaming Minecraft on Mondays and Oddworld Munch's Odyssey on Sundays. There are other games, excuse me. There are other games that I play from time to time. Factorio, Euro Truck Simulator, Train Simulator, and other bits and pieces. But the main ones that I'm doing at the minute, like I say, the main ones that I'm doing at the minute are Farming Sim, Minecraft, and Munch's Odyssey. Would you ever change your voice in op, says Liv Shelley. If you mean would I have vocal cord surgery, no, that's not something that I really want to do. I would like to train my voice. You could do voice training to feminise your voice, but I don't really want to do surgery. I don't think it's really necessary. Sorry, I'm just in my boobs there. I don't think it's really necessary. It's an option, but I think voice training will be more than enough to get the results that I want. Someone said, "What are you?" and someone replied, "Vermin." I think you may have misspelled woman there. It's a V. It's a W, not a V. Easy mistake to make. Thanks for following, Charlie Anderson, by the way. Thank you everyone for following today, by the way. We've had quite a few followers today, which I greatly appreciate. I haven't been able to read out every single one. But we've actually had 62 followers today, which is incredible. This has been one of my biggest streams in a while, which I'm very, very grateful for. Like I say, I think it's the makeup. I genuinely do. I think it's the fact that I've put in a bit more effort than I have been doing in recent streams. I have noticed there's a direct correlation between how much effort I put into my outfit and how many people watch the stream. I think it's just because it baits people into commenting, which I'm not complaining about, you know. Like I said earlier, all publicity is good publicity. But yeah, like I say, I have noticed the more effort that I put into my makeup and my outfit, the more people watch the stream. So maybe I should put in this much effort more often. You do great in horror films, thank you very much. I've always thought of myself as like a horror movie protagonist. Probably one of the ones who dies right at the beginning of the film, because I have zero survival skills. Does UC know about these streams? I'm not on UC, so no. Always the black guy first, says Simo. That is true, Simo. But to be fair, though, I am trans, so that is a minority group. I feel like it's always someone from a minority group who dies first, right? It's always the black person dies first, or the gay person dies first, or the trans person dies first. So if I was in a horror film, I would definitely be the first to die, just because I'm trans. You know, I'm the token minority character that dies in the first 10 minutes. Oh shit, I've just done an entire row without lowering the pickup. That's your fault, guys, you've distracted me. Not a creator, says Ian. I'd love to know how. I'd love to know what criteria you're basing my creator/not creator status on. Speaking as someone who has been on TikTok for over a year and has done many essay-style videos, speaking as someone who has done 2 20-minute long documentaries on the Peak District, I would consider myself a creator of video content. What map says football? The map is Moss Valley. Hang on a minute. I don't think I was supposed to... I wasn't supposed to wrap these bales, was I? I wasn't supposed to wrap these bales because they're supposed to be grass bales, not silage bales. Shit. Can I cut them open? No, I can't. Is it too late? Okay, whoops. There's kids on this app, says Jamie. There shouldn't be. TikTok very explicitly markets itself as not being for children. There is an age limit to to how old you can be on TikTok. I'm aware that people break those rules, just like they do on any social media platform. I mean, I was on Facebook when I was 11, so... but it's not my fault that there are kids on this app who aren't supposed to be, and even if there are, it doesn't really... Like, why is that an important thing? Why is that an important point to make? What's the age restriction, says Oggy Farmer? I assume it's 13. I think... Isn't Facebook 13? I think most social media platforms are around, like, 12, 13-ish. But I don't know. You still Rapidum, says C. Yeah, I've started, so I'll finish. See, you know what I mean? It's sunk cost fallacy. You know, I'm too far gone at this point, so I'm just gonna do the whole field as silage. There is a mod that lets you cut open bales, so I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can cut them open before they turn into silage, because I think I don't know if they turn into silage instantly when you wrap them, or if there's like a time period. I don't know. I've just hit that one. I guess you're getting cows then, says Tory Plays. Oh, cows. Shit, I've gotten stuck. I'm stuck on a bale. Cows are a bit too involved for me right now. Okay, we're unstuck. Jesus Christ. Jesus is calling, says Josh. Well, I just called for him, actually. But the buffalo cheese, says Tory Play. Ooh, yeah. I don't know. I think I'll get sheep anyway, and I mean we do still own the other two grass fields, so we can get grass from these at some point. Yeah, it does look like we're going to overrun today because we've only got 10 minutes left and I haven't even bought the sheep yet, so we did start 15 minutes late, so I don't mind running over a little bit. Oh, I turned a bit too late there. How long are your streams normally? I've just found you and think you're great, says Tori. Thank you, Tori. My streams are normally 3 hours. There are some exceptions. Sometimes I'll do just 2 hours. Sometimes, if it's a special occasion, I'll do a bit longer. I actually did, just after Christmas, I did a special 5-hour stream where we did like a Christmas special and played like loads of different games. But that's very rare. Normally, my streams are 3 hours. Nice dress, says AMC Garden Services. Thanks, AMC Garden Services. It is a nice one. I like this one very much. I can't lie, I'd love a farming wheel set. However, I'd have no room on my desk. I've got the G29. It does take up space, definitely. I think if you want to get simulation gear, you've got to have the space for it, you know? And for me, fortunately, I mean, I bought this desk especially so that I could have my sim gear permanently set up. Because I've got an L-shaped desk. You can see here that my keyboard and mouse are on this side. One second. I don't think we got enough to unload this next bale. Shit. Oh, we got 94%. No one cares about your setup. I mean, I'm literally responding to a comment about my setup, so at least one person cares about my setup. But anyway, back to what I was saying. Yeah, I specifically bought a corner desk so that I could have my simulation set up permanently here. So I've got my farm sim set up here, and then I've got my like work set up here. So I've got my keyboard and mouse here with a monitor here, and then I've got another monitor here that's just for gaming. Which is a good setup. It's a really good setup. Billy Lively says, how do I get this stuff on off my feed? Well, why do I get this stuff on my feed? You get stuff like this on your feed, Billy, because you click on this stuff. You clicking on this live stream and leaving that comment will ensure that you get more of this kind of content. So it's your own fault. You literally only have yourself to blame. Why are you dressed like that, mate? Because it's a hot day and I wanted to wear something nice and cool. So I've gone for a sleeveless dress with a nice, I'd say midi skirt. It's not exactly short, but it's not exactly long either. Why are you wearing a skirt, mate? Once again, this is a dress. I am convinced that cis men actually don't know the different types of clothing that women wear. Like, I'm fully convinced. I'm genuinely convinced certain people do not know the difference between a dress and a skirt. I get comments on my videos that are saying, like, why are you wearing a crop top? When I'm wearing a full buttoned up long sleeved blouse, and I'm like, do you know what a crop top is? Do you actually know what a crop top is? And it's the same thing here, like, do you know what a skirt is? Do you understand the difference between a skirt and a dress? Because it's not rocket science. It doesn't take a genius to know the difference. Why are you wearing a dress, mate? Well, at least you've gotten the item of clothing right this time, so I'll indulge you. I'm wearing a dress because I want to wear a dress. Because it's a nice dress, and I happen to think I look rather good in it. And whether you agree or not is of no importance to me. How old are you? Says M. Illy. Great username, M. Illy. I like that. I'm 26. I've just crashed into that fence again and again. You do look great, keep it up, says Mason. Thank you very much, Mason. That's kind of you. You look stunning, love the red lip. Thanks, Bex. Thanks. I've actually got red eyelids to match as well, which you can't really see very much from that angle, but if I close my eyes, you can see my red eyelids. Chris says, we had one of these tractors on demo, it was so complicated. It does look quite complicated just looking at the panels. Like, I'm not being funny, but any vehicle that has a touchscreen display on the steering wheel is probably a bit too complicated for me. But then again, I don't actually drive in real life, so any vehicle with a steering wheel at all is probably too complicated for me. What's wrong with you, says Riley. I have got a bit of a cough, Riley. I'm very sorry. I know I've been coughing a lot throughout the stream. Bit of a tickle in the throat. I do apologise for that. Like I say, I'm not ill, though. That's the thing. I'm not ill. I think I've, like, actually scratched my throat or something. Because it's just, like, a little tickle. How does it feel to be a disappoint? I presume you mean disappointment. And I wouldn't know, because I'm not a disappointment. I'm very happy with myself. I'm very accepted by my family. So, in fact, I actually... 1 second. I'm going to just pause the game just for a sec. Oh, it doesn't. It doesn't. I've got a little necklace here. This was actually a present from my dad, and it actually says on it, "I love you today, tomorrow, always." So that's nice. And then on the other side it says, "To my daughter, I love you forever." So thanks for that, Dad. And he got me that last year, by the way. So if you wanted any proof that my parents are supportive, there you go. Of course, I'm sure you'll make up some excuse, like I bought it myself and pretended that it was from my dad or some other whatever helps you sleep at night. If you genuinely like are unable to comprehend the fact that someone might actually support their trans kids, then you know, whatever helps you sleep at night. If you have to believe that for your own sanity, then you continue to believe that. Okay, there we go. Now, we are very close to the end of the stream now, but there is one last thing. Whoops, there is one last thing I want to do before I finish, and that is I'm going to buy some sheep, and then we're going to wrap things up. You keep crashing, says 4-rate. I know, that's because I'm a terrible driver. What farming sim is this? This is 25, and I'm playing on a map called Moss Valley Farm. Hold on. Happy Pride Month, says Tori Plays. Thank you very much, Tori. That's very kind of you. Okay, so before we finish, I'm going to save the game. And then I'm going to go to the shop. I'm going to go to... I'm going to go to construction. And we're going to go to animals. There we go. Sheep. There we are. Okay. Excuse me. Bella, let people be happy. Why is it affecting you? I agree, Bella. Unfortunately, not many people on the internet follow that philosophy. Which is what it is. Right, I actually don't know where my field is. I'll find it in a minute. Jan273 says Transformer. I'm not being funny, right? Not only are you not the person, you're not the first person to call me that today. You're not even the first person to call me that in the last 5 minutes. Like, if you're going to try to insult me, can you please at least attempt to say something original? What I'd really love more than anything in the world is for someone to give me an insult that I've never had before. I would genuinely like someone to call me a name that I've never been called before. Because it's never happened. It's always the same 5 or 6 names. It's always bloke, man, dude in a dress, guy, transformer, tranny, etc., etc. It's always one of those. Like, please, if you're gonna try, then actually try, right? Call me something that I've never been called before. You look like Gollum, says Morgan. Heard it before. Send 2-3 years Dagestan and forget. Heard it before. Uno reverse. Heard it before. Normal, says DRZ. That's creative. I'll give you that one. That's creative. Good one. I think we have a winner there, everybody. Okay, I cannot for the life of me find this field. I'm going to have to just go there. There we go. Optimus Prime, heard it before. Michael Jackson, heard it before. Chris Tyson, heard it before. Michael Jackson, literally heard it 2 seconds ago. It's so funny. It's just so funny seeing people try, like, actually try to have an original thought. Like, do you not understand that I'm trying to help you? I'm trying to help you to think for yourself. Like, for once in your life, please, just think for yourself. Say something that hasn't already been said. You know, think of something on your own, independently. Rather than just parroting what hundreds of other people have already said, why not think for yourself? That's all I want. I just want people to actually think for themselves. Rather than be like, I'm a free thinker, and then be like, bloke, transformer, man, Michael Jackson. Like, that's not being a free thinker. That's just repeating the same 5 words that everybody else does. That's, you know, try harder, please. Anyway, let's place a sheep pasture, shall we? We'll go for the cheapest one for now. Or actually, should we? Let's at least go for one that's got an indoor area. How do I rotate it? Ah, like this. Okay, there we go. Get a Logitech, says Roker. Logitech what? Logitech camera, already got. Logitech steering wheel, already got. Logitech controller, already got. Wheel, already got. This here, that's a Logitech. We'll put it at the top end because that's where the access to the field is, so it makes more sense for it to be up here. If we put it somewhere like... I want to make sure there's enough room to actually get the camera... to get the tractor in and out, sorry. Can I turn on... Oh, toggle free mode. There we go. That isn't a Logitech. Yes, it is. This is the Logitech G Heavy Equipment Bundle. I'm not going to pan the camera. I can't really move the camera right now, but it literally has the Logitech logo on the horn in the middle, as it does here on the side panel. Like, I don't know why you think I would lie about a thing like that. Like, oh yeah, actually, it's not a Logitech wheel. I just thought I'd pretend that it's a Logitech wheel for shits and giggles, for no reason. Okay, let's go... I don't want to put it there because I'm never going to get that bale out. I've got to at least put it somewhere where I can still move these bales. So, there we go. That's not a Logitech product, says Dan. Dan, you're not going to gaslight me into thinking that I've bought a fake Logitech product when I bought this directly from Logitech's website. Like... Give it a rest. Give it. You're not fooling anyone. You're not gonna convince me. What are you trying to achieve? Oh, actually, okay. I'm gonna place, just for now, we're gonna place a very small pen because I want to move the bales before I expand it. So what we're gonna do is I am gonna move these bales. We're gonna take them away. We're gonna sell them. And then I am going to expand the pen here so that it covers the whole field. But for now, I'm going to get a couple of sheep because I did promise that we were going to put a couple of sheep in the field before we finished up. Ignore the terraforming. Shit happens. So let's buy a couple of sheep. Do I have a Discord says Tori Plays? I do, Tori. Yes, it's in my bio. There's a Linktree link which will take you to all of my other links. If you want to follow me on Instagram, YouTube, if you want to support me on Patreon, if you want to join the Discord, all the links for that are in my bio. Okay, what sheep are we going to go for and how old? We have Landrace, Steinschaft, Swiss Black Brown Mountain, Black Welsh Mountain, or goats. I think we'll go for a mix. We'll go for a mix of I don't know anything about sheep, so I don't know which ones are best for wool. Sorry, I know they all produce wool, but is there one that is there one that's better for wool? I don't know. We'll just get a mix. We'll get a mix. No, not yet. Hang on. We'll have 2 of them. Oh, actually, let's get 5 of each. And we're going to get them 3 months old, so they're not newborn, but they're not fully grown either. Dan said your ground in barn isn't flat. Yeah, I'm aware of that, Dan. I had to turn off terraforming because otherwise it wouldn't let me place the pen where I wanted it. But it's not the end of the world. I can still get in and out for feeding and stuff like that. Okay, here they are. We've got 20 sheep. Welsh are better because they produce more a year. Oh well, we've bought them now. We've bought a mix. We got all 4 types that are available in game. So we got some Black Welsh Mountain, we got some Steinschaft, we've got some Landrace, and we've got some Swiss Black Brown Mountain. There they are. We got sheep. We finally got sheep right at the very end of the stream. I did promise we would get them today, and here they are. Here's our beautiful sheep. We are gonna have to leave them for now, but in the next stream we'll focus on getting them fed and watered. Look at them playing. They're really cute. Yeah, looking forward to moving forwards with the sheep. God, they can jump quite high, can't they? They're very cute. I love these. Okay, but that is, unfortunately, where we're going to have to leave it for today. So I'm going to do a big save, and then we're going to wrap things up. When's the next stream, says BH8? The next Farming Sim stream is going to be next Friday, but the next stream period is going to be Munch's Odyssey, which is on Sunday. So, we are finished with the game, but before we finish up, don't go anywhere because I am going to do my usual wrap-up as we do at the end of our streams. The farming is finished, so if you aren't interested in the wrap-up, then feel free to go now. But if you do want to stick around for the last few minutes, by all means, please do. Let's get some music on. What have I just done? Oh. There we go, there's the music. Okay, so, thanks everyone. Thank you for joining me for today's stream. It has been wonderful. I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. By far, this has been one of the biggest streams I've done in a while. We got 73 new followers, so thank you so much everyone for following today. I'm not going to read out every single name because there's so many, but thank you all so much. It's greatly appreciated. I've had a wonderful time, some great conversations, some wonderful questions and chat going on in the stream. So thank you all so much. It's been really fun. And we got a fair bit of stuff done in-game as well. But that's going to be all for Farming Sim today. I am going to play more of this next Friday, obviously, and we will do the sheep. We'll focus on actually getting the sheep fed and watered, and we might also have time to do some more arable farming as well. I don't know if the crops are going to be ready yet, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's it from today. The next stream is going to be on Sunday, where we are going to be playing some more Munch's Odyssey. So please do join me for that if you want to see some more of that. We haven't played that for ages. It's a very short game, so we're already like a third of the way through it. But I can't believe how quickly we've done it. Like in the first stream, we played like so much of it. But I'll do some more of that on Sunday, and then next Sunday will probably be the last episode of that. And then obviously there'll be Minecraft coming on Monday as well. What else? Videos. Now. Oh, actually, no, I want to talk about the one-off live streams, because there's a lot of other live streams coming as well. Next week, I'm doing a Lego live stream. I've ordered the new Lego Minecraft Creeper, which I'm going to be building live on stream next week, whenever it comes, probably like Wednesday or Thursday, so do join me for that. And then the week after that, I'm going to be doing another spider unboxing stream. I am currently looking out for a new spider. Haven't decided yet what species I want to go for, but I've been looking at Phidippus morpheus, the dream jumping spider. It looks really cute. It's way smaller than Luna, my previous spider, but they look really amazing. So we will see what happens, but I am definitely in the market for another spider very soon. And obviously when I get that, I'll be doing a live stream setting up the enclosure and stuff like that. So if you're interested in spiders, there will be a spider-related live stream coming within the next couple of weeks. Now, videos. In terms of videos, I have 2 videos on the way very soon. First of all, I have part 4 of the Lego tour, which is coming next week. I've just finished writing the script for it today. I need to record the audio and then obviously do the actual video as well. But that will be coming next week, so please do join me for that. And then the week after, I have another queer discussion video coming out. I don't want to spoil it too much. I did mention a little bit earlier in the stream kind of what it's about, but I like to leave those videos unspoiled until they actually drop. But there will be another trans/queer discussion video coming, video essay style video coming later on in the month, or maybe at the start of July. So I'll see you for that if you're interested. But that is everything. That's all we have time for today. So I am going to wrap things up. If you have enjoyed the stream, but you haven't already followed, then please do. If you want to support me financially, then please consider checking out my Patreon. Thank you very much to Kate, Sophie, Jess, and Daniel for supporting me over there. There's a link in my bio. It only costs £1 a month, and you get a shout out on stream as well as some other benefits. And also, I just want to say thank you to Danny, who isn't on the board, but they joined during today's stream. So in fact, actually, before we finish up, let me just quickly go to my Patreon and read out the full list, because we do have at least one newcomer today. 1 second. So Danny J. Bateman, thank you very much for becoming a supporter. Your name will be on the board in the next live stream. And once again, if you want to get your name on the board, if you want to support me on Patreon, then please do check that out in my bio. Also, you know, join the Discord, join Instagram, subscribe on YouTube, yada yada yada. You know the drill. Do all of that if you want to, or if you don't, then don't. I'm not sure why you're here at this point if you don't want to, but the choice is yours. That's everything, and also just want to say thank you to everyone watching on YouTube. I have been streaming in HD today, so if I'm going to check the stream back after, and we'll see how it turned out. But thank you everyone for watching over on YouTube. Hopefully, if it went well, I will do more HD streams on YouTube. It might be terrible. My internet's not the best, so that it might turn out terribly in the end. But we'll see. That's going to be everything. thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you for all the wonderful comments. Thank you for all the negative comments. Thank you everyone who's told me to kill myself. Thank you everyone who's called me a bloke or a man or Michael Jackson. All comments are appreciated, positive or negative. Just thank you for being here. You know, it's always nice to just have a nice atmosphere, have lots of people talking, whether they've got something nice to say or not. It's just nice to have people here. So thank you all, and I will see you all on Sunday for some Munch's Odyssey. Thank you very much, everyone, and bye-bye. And thanks everyone over on YouTube as well. Once again, I just want to quickly say thank you for watching over on YouTube. Thank you for supporting me over there on YouTube. I don't know how well the stream has gone. Sorry, Dancing Queen, that I didn't see your comments until now. OBS Studio has a habit of hiding the chat on YouTube, and it's really hard to find. But thank you for the comments. Like I say, hopefully the HD stream has gone down well, and if it has, I'll do it again in future. But that's all. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.